What's up, all you nerds and turds? Welcome to Indie's Nuts Podcast. I'm Steve. We have Andy here, back from Italia. And we have Matt, a.k.a. Missed Enough. Welcome, gentlemen. How are we doing this week?
I've missed you boys so much.
Yeah?
Doing so good. I'm glad Andy's back.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I feel fresh.
Indie's Nuts pretty much had its best month ever in February. And may have had its best... I have to go back and look, but I think it had its best episode last week.
Best week ever.
As far as like day one downloads.
Best week ever.
Yeah. So congratulations on that, everybody. High fives all around. We're growing up a little bit. We're doing the thing.
Golf claps?
Golf claps. I don't think there we go. Yeah. So folks, if you, and I think this has something to do with it. If you are listening on Spotify or iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever they're calling it, there are ways that you can rate the show. And I just found out that you could do this on Spotify. And I think we started a little campaign of trying to get people to rate the show. After you download an episode and listen to it for a few seconds, you can then rate the show. You just give it a star rating and boom, all of a sudden the algorithm starts feeding this show to more people. Also, listen to this bullshit. Okay, because I figured this out too. Our podcast, when Apple changed from iTunes to Apple Podcast, they changed how their categories are, right? Mm-hmm. So we were under leisure and not gaming.
Oh no.
Right.
That's terrible.
So now we're under now leisure has a bunch of subcategories now. So we're under leisure gaming now. So that could also help us out.
Imagine just looking for like a slackline fishing podcast and you land on us by accident.
Yeah, or a podcast about like pillow cushions.
Home decor.
Welcome everyone to Pillow Talk.
Welcome to Coffee Talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what the hell this is Indie's Nuts Podcast, the internet's #1 indie gaming news, previews, and reviews podcast that you've never heard of. But some of you are starting to hear of us. We're doing it. Less than a year in. We're only 34 episodes into this bad boy. And we're starting to get our headway here. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Oh, my word. Speaking of support, you could support us by going to dualscreens.com and reading our articles and all that fun stuff. Andy, do we have anything cooking for dualscreens.com?
I was on vacation, dude.
You were, but I posted a thing which we spoke about last week. But there should also be something else going up, I think. I think we have some stuff in drafts. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we do.
Listen, it's PAX East, it's pre-PAX East week.
Great.
Yeah, there'll be like an explosion of content after that.
So much written content. Yeah,
we do all of our content during PAX East.
Yeah, and then it just dies
3 weeks after that.
Yeah, and then it just dies for a whole year.
Yeah, we're like squirrels. We just
and then just Jimmy and Rads keep it alive.
We'll just pump it out. Yeah,
that's it. It's the two of them.
Every 8 months, Andy promises me he's going to post all of the and you were supposed to do Indie's Nuts, by the way, Matt. You guys you on the website, remember? You're supposed to actually put the episodes up with the YouTube link and everything.
Wait, I am?
Yeah, you were supposed to do this show.
Oh.
And what's the hell's his name? Perger was supposed to do crossplay when he was still doing that. And Andy was doing DSP. And nobody did any. So I mean, it would be cool if those were there because then people could go there.
Yes.
For the podcast.
You make a good point.
I do make a good point.
It's a compelling argument.
Compelling. Also, our guest host page hasn't been updated in 4.5 months.
No, it hasn't. It's a complete lie.
Nope. It has been updated in its looks, but it is about 4.5 months behind guests.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Shit on Ourselves podcast. How's it going?
All right, fine, Matt. Fine. There's nothing new on Dual Screens because we are awful. So the podcasts are the two things that you can hang out and do. Goodness gracious. We're going to get into our indie game adventures right now.
Yes, we should.
I have fallen in love with a action RPG, a Diablo-like game that has been out in early access for quite a while now. But it has been brought to my attention from Perger, the aforementioned Perger.
He did bring it to us.
Because this is like his genre. He loves this shit. It's called Last Epoch. And I am absolutely in love with it. It is, like I said, it is a Diablo-like action RPG. I am playing uh, a witch necromancer type character. I run around with like 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 skeletons and a bone golem.
Oh my god.
And just shred things to pieces. It is so much fun. There's so much loot. It is accessible. It is
I like that you started at 4 skeletons. Like 4 was the first number out of your mouth. I was like, oh yeah, it's a pretty decent amount of skeletons. Then you're like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 skeletons. I was like, holy shit, that's a lot of skeletons.
Yeah. So each of your the way that they kind of do, and I might butcher this just because I am new to the game, but everything sort of has its own tree that you could level up within what you're picking. So as you're leveling up your class per se, so you pick I believe it's called the Acolyte is the class that I picked, which is a lot of dark magic, not necessarily a necromancer yet, but then there's a subclass that is the necromancer. You could pick a necromancer, or you could pick the lich. And I picked the necromancer. So as you're leveling up, you'll unlock these abilities. You could use 5 or 6 abilities, left and right click, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I think it's 6 total.
No, because
or is it 1, 2, and 3? I don't know.
Because left click is your movement.
Right, left click is movement. Right, I'm just all right. Yeah, so it's 4. You can have 4 that are tied to your character at all times. So it's not too much, right? It's pretty straightforward. And you would think, oh, that's going to cut all my options. I'm not going to have all this cool shit. Nope, because you specialize in specific ones at certain levels. So at, I think it's level 5 or 8 or something like that, you get to specialize in one of your powers that you have unlocked. And then in there's a tree of different things that you could unlock and specialize in within that specialization. So just to give an example, one of like my skeleton summons, there are paths on the skeleton summon tree that you can summon warriors, rangers, rogues, and mages is a separate one that you could master. So that's how I get those different skeletons. So like I could summon 2 rogues, 2 warriors, and 2 rangers at my current build that I have right now. And then I also specialize within that to do a ton of poison damage. So like I'm a poison build with a bunch of minions that go around just stacking poison on bad guys. And there's so much to do. It's beautifully crafted. It really is. It feels like quintuple A like game for me.
Yeah,
it's like
it's very polished.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean there's definitely a little bit of jank, but because it's like still in early access technically.
Yeah.
But like for what it is very polished. And I'm not nearly as far as Steve is.
I'm up to the last mission.
Yeah,
So.
I'm not even close. Like I've been trying to get onto my computer to play it, and it's been a fucking nightmare to try to play anything on my computer. Just like the amount of agency you get over your build is insane. There are skill trees for everything. There's like a skill tree for your initial
your passive
character.
Skills.
Yeah, you have like passive skills. There's a skill tree for your like initial character, and then like whatever subclass that you build out.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And it is so much fun.
It's really well put together. It plays as good as a Diablo has ever played, in my opinion. The loot is crazy, and the really amazing thing, I think, is how much they're listening to player feedback. There are so many, and this is something that I haven't witnessed firsthand, but like I'll be doing something. I was playing with Purger, and like we're doing this mission, and he goes, "Hey, just recently they did a whole quality of life thing that you don't have to walk down this tower after you cleared it anymore. Like it just teleports you to the front." It's like they did so many little things like that just make it more fun to play, that it's just awesome. It's an awesome experience. I
think the way that one of the things that I said to Purger about it, right, was like, so Diablo 3, you kind of unlock your skill runes, you can change stuff around, but you're not really invested in your build, because you can really like swap out anything at any time. You can respec in this game for sure, but the decisions don't feel big. And so when I picked my character and I started leveling up, there was a point where I had to decide what subclass I was going to be. And the question that I had in front of me was, do I want to be able to summon a giant scorpion, or do I want to be able to morph into a bear? And those are the kinds of questions that I want to ask myself. Yeah, that when I'm building out a character, or when I have this kind of a system in front of me, those are the kind of questions that I want to ask myself, because it makes me more excited to jump back in as the same character and take it down a completely different pathway, right? Like Diablo 3 it was fun, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to harsh on Diablo 3, but it just was very limiting. And
Yeah.
if you're playing a monk, you're playing a monk, and if you're playing a demon hunter, you're playing a demon hunter. There was some variation, but it wasn't this like complete transformation of how you play the game. You know what I mean? And this feels like that.
Yeah, this feels like a reinvention of what the RPG aspects of an ARPG can be. And it's also fast paced. It doesn't feel slow and clicky and like, I made loot filters, so I'm only seeing rare loot or loot that's specifically for me. Like I just hide everything else, so you don't even have to worry about it. It's got a really cool crafting mechanic. I could talk about this game for hours.
And
really
it's
cool
still
crafting
in early
mechanic.
access.
Yes,
it is.
Yep.
I'm really interested too, because like this just, Purger has been Purger brought us all into this.
He's been playing this for a long time.
Yeah, he's been playing it for a while, but also he's noted several times that like their player base is healthier than it's ever been, and they've had like pretty, for them, record-breaking amounts of concurrent players. And with the open beta, or like, well, it's a closed beta actually, for Diablo 4 coming up, I'm really interested to see what that skill system looks like in comparison to something like this. I'll probably buy Diablo 4 anyway. I know this is an indie game show, but I really do love the angle that they took with skills and how you build your character out in this game. And I hope to God that Blizzard does something similar.
Let me put it this way. I was still on the fence about Diablo just because of the whole Activision Blizzard thing. And let's say, like, the Diablo is the game that I love. Like it's the game out of that company that I enjoy at all. And this game gave me second thought, like, oh, maybe I could just play this and I'll be okay. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. All right, yeah, that's Last Epoch. Let's talk about Dungeons of Aether.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember, a game came out a while ago called Rivals of Aether. It was like a Smash-like game. This is made by that same studio and exists in that same universe. And it is a turn-based dice building game. And so it's a turn-based RPG. You're playing as a couple of different characters throughout the campaign. They're all playing very differently. Like they all have different skill sets, and they all use the dice in a relatively unique way. The one character that I've gotten really deep in is the first character. Her name's Fleet. There's like a mining town that you're on top of, and some corporation has come in and they're mining for something, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this fucking company here? So you go into these mines, you start clicking around. You're not moving around the overworld traditionally. You're just kind of clicking into the rooms where bad guys are. If there's an open doorway, you can click into that. The combat is really where it gets interesting. So there are dice drafts for every round. You and your opponent draft a set of dice for each turn. And basically it's like whoever gets the higher amount wins. But there's a bunch of different things to consider. So, do you want higher attack? Do you want to put your dice into your defense? There's also accuracy, and so if you put dice into accuracy, it unlocks a bunch of your different skills. So the higher your accuracy, the more skills you can use. And then there's speed, and so that just determines who goes first. Juggling all these things, on top of that, there are items that you can use that can give you specific dice. So you could be like, I went like really heavy attack this round, but he's actually going to hit me. I have this item that will allow me to summon a couple of defense dice, and I can put the defense dice in my defense and raise it up. I'm not super deep in, but I really, really have enjoyed. I don't like turn-based games; they're really like not my thing. But this game has really like drawn me in. The world is super cool. The characters are really well written, and the combat is super, super fun. And every round is like a puzzle. You're trying to figure out what dice from the draft you're going to take, what you think they're going to take, what what powers they have versus what powers you can use. There's a whole system of like stamina that you can use where you can like boost up different one of the 4 different skills that you have, or one of the 4 different dice placements rather that you have. So if I'm low on one and I have like 8 stamina, I can like pump stamina into that stat to boost
That's
it.
dope.
It is really, really, really fun. Highly suggest checking it out. It released not too long ago, actually, on Steam.
February 28th.
I wish I was. I don't know why. Turn-based games, super good at talking about like Binding of Isaac type games. Turn-based games, I'm like, and then the stamina with the dice stuff, and you put it in the dice hole, and you hit the button, and you make them go. It's good.
Indeed.
Good job. But yeah, it's a really good time. If you like these types of games, Slay the Spire type stuff,
you sure can.
It is really good.
If you want to.
All right, Matt, put in your dice hole.
Put it in your dice hole.
Andreas, 9 Years of Shadows.
Oh my god! So this game isn't out yet. It's out like in 2 weeks, I think.
Yes, it is out in 11 days.
Sometime in March. Also, future guest of the DS podcast.
Yes, DS podcast, and was in our showcase.
Yes,
another indie game showcase.
I am in love with this game. It is a Metroidvania in every way. You play as this beautiful woman in a purple dress and a halberd, and she kicks ass. And the main gameplay gimmick is there's no health bar. You have a light bar in a little HUD over here. If you can see it in the video playing. And there's a small ghost of a teddy bear that follows you around as you play. And this little teddy bear ghost, you can use the right analog stick to aim and shoot little ghost projectiles at the enemies. And that depletes your light bar. And if that gets drained, you die. You can refill it by attacking and landing hits on enemies. Or you can hold down the right trigger to hug the teddy bear and get life back. It is the most wholesome shit I've seen.
It's so weird you saying that, watching the video of this game, because like it looks like a pretty brutal Metroidvania action platformer type game, and then you're like, and you hug, but also you hug a teddy bear.
You hug a teddy bear, and there's like a theater and like musicians and like this forge master that you pay him in music notes. It's such a trippy game, amazing soundtrack. I can't praise it enough. It's out really soon.
Thunder Buddies for life.
Wishlist the ass out of it, all of you.
Well, I'm a finna. Don't you
this
worry.
Looks super good.
It's so good.
I'm gonna play the shit out of it when you buy it, probably.
How many shits are you gonna play out of it
already?
Well, it's already it's already in my library, Matt. So
7.
You can probably play
shits.
it. You can probably play it now.
Wow.
I can play it now.
You can play it now.
You can play it now.
I can play it. You can't play it now, Steve.
I've never played it.
No. Nor will you.
So I have a question, Andy.
Yes. Talk to me.
How does the game like make it so that you're tempted to use the teddy bear's powers? Because it seems like,
well, the
like
teddy
why
bear,
would you do that ever?
Well, because you have to break crystals and barriers with the little teddy bear beam, so you have to use the ability.
Okay.
And you can infuse your weapon with like lightning or fire, and like there's elemental weaknesses to enemies too, to like break their shields or break their stance.
Okay.
So it all.
This game looks really good.
Goes into play. I'm like 6 hours deep. I'm in love with it. It's so good.
Delicious. Fights in tight spaces.
This game is so fucking dope. This is a tactical turn-based card strategy John Wick simulator.
Okay, so hold on. We were just talking about 9 Years of Shadows. Let's just make sure people know that we were talking about. Now we have moved on to fights in tight spaces.
Oh my god! Look at this fucking game.
Build a deck, punch dudes.
Yeah. So you're an agent. You get sent on several missions. There are a bunch of different nodes that you can go to. There are events along the way. You end up going to a boss. Every stage is this tiny little amount of tiles and you are trying to use your cards to eliminate all the enemies. There are all kinds of different physics effects, like cards will push people, you can push people into other people, you can push people into walls, you can fucking slam people on tables and shit. You can make people hit each other. And so it becomes this like, at first you're like, all right, let me just punch the shit out of everything, right? And you have in your head like, I'm just gonna beat everything up. But then it becomes this like really cool ballet because there are movement abilities where like you can slip past the guy or you can vault over a table, and you'll be like kicking somebody into the space where he's gonna get stabbed. He gets stabbed and dies. You vault over the table so that the other guy that was on your other side doesn't hit you. He comes towards you. You slam his head on the table. He's fucking dead. A boss comes in. There's a door to your right that's open because like open spaces you can kick people through, and you fucking sidekick him through the door and he flies out. And it's just this really beautiful like ballet of, instead of just beating the shit out of everything, it's this beautiful movement ballet of, all right, I need to move here to not get attacked, but also I can move this character, I can move this enemy over here, and he'll get shot by one of the guards or something like that. And it is like super, super addicting. There's a bunch of different enemy types, healers, there's characters that will poison you, but all of the effects that you can take on that are negative can also be applied to any of the enemies. One of my favorite moments I had in this game was I was surrounded by 3 guys in a fucking prison cell. Bad news in general, because who knows what the fuck's gonna happen there, right? Who knows? I don't fucking know what's going on. I slipped behind the dude directly in front of me. So there's one guy to my wall.
Slip behind a guy in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's about to get gnarly.
All right.
I put on the brakes, and now I'm behind you. So I hop behind this guy. I kick him into between the other 2 guys. His forward momentum makes the guy that's up against the wall hit the wall, so he takes damage. End turn, they both mangle him because they were going to attack the space that I was in. He's fucking dead. I now rush towards the guy that's against the wall. I slam his head against the wall. He's dead. I then grapple the guy to my right and fucking grab him and then slam him against the wall, and I finish him off with like a fucking spinning back kick. And it's so cool. I don't know why my camera just went out of focus. One of the cooler things too is that you can replay all the fights. So like you can get a replay of the fight that you
I was just gonna ask if they don't do that in some sort of cinematic way.
It's super
waste of time.
It's not super cinematic, but it's obviously much faster. So instead of being like, all right, it speeds everything up. So you're like, wow, I thought that was really cool when I was doing it. That looked fucking sick. And it just there's all kinds of different stuff too. Like the little yellow circle you see is a combo meter, and so there are certain moves that will like deplete your combo meter. So you have to have a combo meter to use them, like that spin kick I was talking about. Right. But then there are some movement abilities, like if you're trying to escape, that will completely deplete your meter. It's really, really great.
Yeah, it looks
bunch of different cards to unlock, bunch of different moves that you can do. Fucking running knee strike people. It's great. Knock people over railings. It's really, really, really well designed. This is an older game too. It's not particularly recent, but
yeah,
I can't believe more people didn't talk about this when it came out because it is so fucking fun.
This looks like Sifu, Super Hot, and Slay the Spire were like in a throuple.
Yes,
that's exactly
100%. That is exactly what this is. 100%. Those 3 things. They all fucked and had a baby.
And it made this, yeah.
And it made this.
So good.
Well, speaking of making a baby.
Oh, boy.
Dead Cells and Castlevania have made a baby.
This was the absolute worst game to take on vacation.
Uh-oh.
Because I could not set it down. For the life of me. I was, when you have to get up for like a 15-hour or Tuscany, and you got to sleep, because you're up at 5 a.m. to get ready, and I'm just glued to my Steam Deck playing fucking Dead Cells. Because Konami is doing good shit. Like, I'm not sure what happened. Like, when the memo finally came on their desk, said, hey, do good shit, guys. they chose the right people for a Castlevania type game. And Motion Twin fucking crushed it. Between like the Dead Cells gameplay with Castlevania makes insanely good sense to me. Like the weapon movement, the combat with the soundtrack and the iconic bosses, it is like this orgasmic sensation. I was giddy playing this thing.
Dead Cells in general is just one of those games. And I was saying this before the show. When it gets its hooks in you, you're run after run after run after run, because it's such like a different type of roguelike. It's so visceral, and when you get like a great synergistic run going.
Where's put in the jar? $1 for the jar.
It feels so good, like when you drop a turret and there's a poison cloud and your weapon does X amount % more damage to something that's poisoned, and it also makes them bleed, and then your other weapon, it's such a great package, and they've done so well over the years and like worn their hearts on their sleeves and worn their inspiration on their sleeves, and I'm so glad that they've achieved such a level of success that Konami was like, you know what? Okay. We'll let you have this property, and we'll let you do this with it.
I really hope this was like the mindset when they chose who was doing all those like slew of Silent Hill games. Like, please let all the teams you chose be the right ones, because if this is the standard now, this is your first like outsourced indie company taking on like a major IP of yours, and it was gangbusters. So let the trend continue, because this is I can't even describe to you how I felt when like Vampire Killer comes on, and it's like in a Dead Cells kind of like soundtrack. It's so masterfully done, and it made me so happy.
It's such like a weird magical pairing,
right?
That because like the style of Dead Cells is very clearly influenced by Castlevania.
Oh, of course,
without a doubt, all that stuff, and just giving them a run at this musically, gameplay wise, narratively, it's so perfect.
The last time shit was this good was when Cadence of Hyrule came out.
Oh yeah,
and it was like a great game. It really showed what you can do with like an established IP from like a passion-fueled small indie team, and it's the same thing here. And it's like you can tell they love Castlevania when they made this, when they put it together. It's oozing like passion. There's so many Easter eggs and references. It's too short, way too short.
You're meant to play it over and over and over.
It's true, I know that. But like, it makes you want a full-fledged Castlevania game from these guys. That's how good it is.
Maybe now
that should be the next step.
Yep, those are the ingredients that you would need to craft a Castlevania. And speaking of crafting, it is now time to get into our indie steal of the week.
What's this? It looks interesting.
All right, guys,
ladies and gentlemen, this
it is. I want to preface this with something.
What did you pick?
It is so difficult to not put a Vampire Survivors like game in this position almost every week, because they're all fucking $3. The other problem with it is though that like so many of them are cool. Like so many of them are fun to play.
Yeah, it's true.
And so this is another one of those type games. The whole theme here is cooking. It's pretty cartoony compared to some of the other games. I really have had a good time with this. So first, on the back end, the meta progression is you building a town up. This just came out in early access yesterday. And so you're building a town up, and that's how you kind of get your like increased movement speed, increased experience gain, increase weapon damage, whatever. As you're fighting stuff, every different move that you have can afflict enemies with a status effect. And to build your ultra meter, so you have like a super move. You need to kill enemies who are afflicted with several different status effects of a very particular nature. And so when you're picking skills, you're trying to pick skills that will result in that. So like
right.
one of the characters, so the character that you see here, Stoverick, chopped, roasted, and spiced, right? And so your regular weapon is a knife, and that will apply chopped. And then you can pick up like salt and pepper shakers, which all like a pepper shaker is like a shotgun, and the salt is like a rain AOE, and those apply spiced. And so now you have chopped and spiced, and then you can, one of the moves is a frying pan, and that will suck enemies in, it'll explode them, and they'll roast. And if you kill enough of them, it'll fill your gauge, and then you can use your ultimate ability. I really love that gameplay loop. I think it's really cool because instead of just like walking around aimlessly shooting off all of your skills, you're really trying to like combo them in a very specific way to make sure that you're building your ultimate. One of the other really cool little things is the skills that you get can be either active or automatic, and you can select that. So if you pause the game, you can toggle any of your active skills to be automatic. And so you can fire off them manually if you'd like, or you can pick which ones you'd like to fire off manually, or you can be like, all right, I just want this to fire off when the cooldown's done. And that kind of opens up a bunch of different things. So this is a relatively standard Vampire Survivors type game. Outside of that, there's a bunch of different levels you go through. You go stage by stage, and then eventually you'll fight like a big boss. And yeah, it's really cool. It's $2.99, I think it was.
It is $3.59.
$3.59. There you go. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. It just released in early access, so there's a whole lot more to come with this game.
Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to go into our Wishlist Roundup, brought to you by DualScreens.com/shop, where you can buy all of your Dual Screens merchandise, including your Indies Nuts t-shirt, your Adventures in Gaming t-shirt, your I Love Indies t-shirt, your Let Us Play t-shirt. So many t-shirts.
Your next favorite t-shirt.
That's a lot of t-shirts.
Your next favorite t-shirt right now on DualScreens.com/shop.
I'm just gonna make a shirt that says Synergy on it.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's our three faces that blend together.
Synergizing.
Just like the three of us.
Oh God!
Like just kind of
sounds like
anamorphing together.
It sounds like a John Carpenter movie.
In like blue, yellow, and red, just like blending together.
Oh my God, Steve! What is this game?
The more you describe it, I put this on here. This game looks so dope, dude.
All right,
this game looks so good, dude.
The first game on our list of the wish list roundup, which is these are games that we found that are not out yet, that we have added to our wish list, and we think you should too. So follow the bouncing ball. The first game we are going to be talking about is A Rat's Life: The Cat Conspiracy.
This is a first-person rat action simulator. It looks so good. It's so stupid. You pick up a bunch of shit. It looks like it's like a not bullet hell. It looks like it's like a boomer shooter type game, and you hit things with your hands and your tail. There are upgrades for your fucking tail. Just look at the fucking game. This looks so good. Like why is there no hype for this? It looks amazing. Like crawling around on all fours.
Oh my God, the tail combat looks exceptional.
This looks dope, actually.
I can't wait to play this. I don't know what's
like
going
fighting
on.
giant crabs and shit. What the fuck is happening?
I mean, they're normal sized crabs.
Yeah, you're a rat, Andy.
You're a very small rat. Gather precious resources like poop, apparently trash.
Yeah, build your shit up, man. I don't know. It just looks so good. To be honest, what caught me? I was just scrolling through Steam looking for stuff, and the first person rat walking.
There's
like just rats. The pause, going like this. I was like, I don't know what this is. I'm into it. I watched the trailer. I was like, holy shit!
I can't.
I'm gonna love this game.
There's hats. You can put hats on them.
You put hats on.
They
Look at it. He did a little heart.
They build little bridges.
This looks adorable.
Looks dope.
Tell me you don't
Also,
want to play it right now.
also on our list is a game that we've been following for quite a while, specifically Andy, and that's Cassette Beasts.
Yeah, man, it's like Pokemon, but like during your cassettes. It's so cool.
This is one of
It's
those.
so damn cool. I didn't think it'd be thrown to me actually.
You didn't think I was throwing it to you?
I threw this on here actually.
Oh, I'm sorry, because I know Andy had a lot to say about it.
I've been following it for
in our Discord. That's why I thought it was like something.
All right, so I'll preface. I don't like Pokemon.
No, you don't. But you like music.
I love music.
Fusions. You like synergy.
I think, and I love the art style of this game, like the 2D, 3D. I love that. It's one of the only things that I liked about Octopath Traveler was how cool it looked. This game looks really fucking cool. The idea of fusing music together to create unique monsters reminds me of Monster Rancher.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It seems like hey, do you not like Pokemon but think turn-based battling is okay and love music? Matt, here's your Pokemon game. And I really want to give this a go. I want to play it.
Another turn-based game also, Matt.
I know
it's a lot for you.
Listen, all right.
Are you growing up? Are you evolving?
Definitely no. I feel like I bring the same types of games almost every week, and so I've been trying really, really hard to play games that when I look at them initially, I'm like, I don't think I'll like that. Like Dungeons of Aether. That's a turn-based strategy game. And I didn't think I was going to like it with dice.
Yeah, you're a big dice guy, though.
I do like dice. So that's what got me. And so I picked that up, and I was like, damn, this is pretty good. And so I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone of boomer shooters and roguelikes.
It's kind of like you're going from reading comic books to picture books. I'm very proud of you.
I love how
I don't know. Wait, I'm going from comic books to children's books
to picture books. Not children's books, picture books.
Picture books.
Yeah.
You know, there was a massive update to Turbo Overkill recently, right, Matt?
Yeah, I can't. I don't have time. I don't have time.
I love how you can merge merge your two creatures on the battlefield.
Yeah,
that's
super
pretty
cool.
dope. I love that.
I don't know. And then Andy said he'd been following it for a while, so it lent some credence to it.
I thought it was out actually. Like I was kind of shocked that it's coming this year. And there's a demo too, so check that out, guys, when you get a chance.
So I'll be back with my demo impressions next week.
Do that.
All right, so let's get into some of the stories in the indie game world. VGC videogamechronicle.com had a story, something I didn't hear anything. I don't even know what this game is, but this was a really interesting story that had a lot of layers, so I do want to talk about it. So the studio behind Souls-like Bleak Faith addresses allegations of Elden Ring asset, quote, theft. There has been an update on here, but I don't want to just jump to spoilers. So essentially, it was found that Bleak Fate had 1-for-1 the same exact animations for a lot of the attacks and a lot of the monsters in the game that were directly from Elden Ring. Like directly, like you put them side by side, they're the same thing. It's not even a question that that's a thing that was happening. Now the developer did come out and did comment on this. I'm going to try and find that quote here. Here it is. Quote, "We've always been transparent about using the Epic marketplace for animations that are good and fit our theme. The rest I made. We just needed more variety, and I'm not an animator by trade. I had to learn for this game. The only other things from the Epic marketplace I use is for generic voice visual effects. That was a waste of time to make, since I'd make things that looked virtually the same anyway, and things that are so generic like rocks that didn't require artistic direction. The entire world was built by hand, so about 10% of the art is outsourced, whereas AAA companies, this is a line I just didn't understand why we needed it. Whereas AAA companies outsource about 70% of their art since they have the budget. We don't have that option. And so any idea we have needs to be made in-house. So the artist then linked to the Epic Game Store asset pack that they claim they purchased. It has since been removed. So it looks like from the outside looking in, and you could kind of ascertain this. First, Archangel, the developer, is going to replace all the assets. So whatever, that's fine. But it looks like somebody just essentially stole the Elden Ring animations, stripped them down, and put them on for sale to make a quick buck. And this developer just didn't know any better or didn't care, or was like, whatever, they look similar, but they're, it can't be the same. It's being sold on the Epic asset store.
I mean, I don't know if I was a developer making a game and I bought an asset pack, if I'd be like, if I would go check like, hey, does this look like Elden Ring? Or if I would even have that in my mind. Like, if you didn't tell me, like,
right.
Good, like, fucking eagle eye for whoever actually caught this.
Right.
But like, if I watched a dude swing a sword in a game a million times, I wouldn't remember. If I saw it in another game, I would not remember that.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? And so it sucks for this guy because somebody was trying to make a quick buck and he ended up kind of catching some flack. Hopefully people, give him a little bit of a break.
Yeah. In other news, Wargroove 2 was announced. So Wargroove 2 is a thing that's going to happen. That's dope. That's exciting. That's really all I have.
Yeah, very excited about that.
We have a major update for Streets of Rage 4, Andy. This is big news.
Yeah, I had no idea they were even working on an update, because this game, again, it was amazing when it came out. It got amazing DLC, and here we come. We have 300 improvements, new co-op moves, fine-tuning, quality of life stuff, and a shit ton more, and it's all for free.
It's available now, but the biggest thing for me is they balanced a lot. I felt like the game was not very balanced. I felt like you needed to cheese a lot, and you couldn't just go in and play. You had to go in and like know the strat that you're going to do that will make sure you don't get hit, and you couldn't just kind of enjoy it.
It was a pretty difficult beat 'em up.
It was the hardest one that I've played in my adult life. It kind of sucked the fun out of it for me a little bit.
Which sucks because it seemed like it was also the most modern take on that whole genre. You know what I mean? Like that genre is a pretty stagnant for a long time.
Yeah, it was basically a side scroll beat 'em up fighting game. Like your character was like a 2D fighter.
Yeah.
And it felt really good. It just was like, okay, now there's 27 jumpy, knife throwing guys. Like it felt like the old Quarter Eater philosophy of you're getting a little further in the game, so now things are going to get a little ridiculous.
It's weird that they updated so much of the design philosophy in the gameplay, but did not take into account that like maybe people don't want to like that arcade loop of like, okay, one more quarter isn't as fun when you're not standing at an arcade machine pumping quarters into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have to hit start a million times while I'm playing a fucking beat 'em up for no reason.
Indeed. Former guest of the Dual Screens podcast has we have the sequel to Hyper Light Drifter has been shown. It is Hyper Light Breaker.
The hype is insane.
My brain.
How does it look so good?
My brain.
Because
I don't even understand.
I could not put on the board, Steven. I couldn't even.
I'm gonna put it up here.
My mind couldn't even comprehend what I was watching. Like, how is this a follow up to Hyper Light Drifter?
It's just not even remotely close to anything that I would expect in like the best way possible. Just like infinite worlds. Like, what does that mean? What do you mean?
It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if like
No Man's Sky now.
If Solar Ash was like the journey game between like you want to have this design philosophy like a 3D realized world, but you got to practice first a little bit, and Solar Ash. Again, big deviation from what Hyperlight looked like.
Yeah. And played like, really.
Yeah,
I mean, like
right.
this game seems like
Oh,
it's like a build driven roguelike, you know what I mean? Like we see different characters, we see different loadouts. It's crazy.
But it's really fun seeing a studio grow up with like how it handles a game like this, like a follow-up. Because again, we're discussing on Discord, this could have been just the same game but better. It didn't need, like, look at Hollow Knight's follow-up. It looks like Hollow Knight.
Right.
It's just more of the shit you love about Hollow Knight. This is like, no, we're not going to do that again. We've done that. It was amazing. We're going to evolve. And this, I can't. This came from the same studio.
It's not working.
It's boggling all of the minds.
I already closed out the browser before, so it's not recapturing for some reason. But
Hyperlight Heartbreak.
Hyperlight Breaker, it really does look like a massive leap in scope, and Heart Machine like just puts his heart and soul into these things, and we're looking forward to seeing where this goes, because it looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I feel like this game is going to take over my life.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's co-op. It's
synergies. The
synergy is real.
Indeed. Hey, remember Advance Wars?
Yeah.
Hell
remember Wargroove?
Yeah. Remember Wargroove 2 that was announced?
They're doing another Wargroove, guys.
Yeah, we spoke about that, but also Kickstarter of the week. Warside. This was shown to us from a former guest of the show in our Discord. So you can also be a part of our Discord by going to patreon.com/dual-screens or DS podcast. Dual screens. Sorry, I'm getting all my links mixed up. But Warside, a pixel art turn-based tactics game. It has I believe it's hit its goal. Yeah, it's hit its goal. They just launched too. They have 27 days to go.
Yeah, this is gonna smash.
This is gonna smash. It's gonna hit all sorts of like stretch goals, I imagine.
Yeah, it looks very Advanced Wars, but also like less than in that visual category, but like in the right way.
What's funny to me, so like I've never played one of these games. I do think I would probably like it. I do like chess a lot, and it seems like a tactical turn-based chess. But the things that they mention that are like different about this game are probably only like readable and comprehensible by somebody who's played Advance Wars. Because they're like, and air units can fly over ground units, and you're like, well, cool. I mean, cool.
Shouldn't they?
That's cool, I guess. Yeah, that's cool.
They do occupy different planes of okay, yeah, different axes, as it were. Sure.
There's like super moves and shit going on here.
Commanders and whatnot.
I have to say, it's really fun to reach out to a dev on Twitter and be like, you want to come on the show and talk about the game that you've already smashed your goal for on Kickstarter that needs no promotion, really? And they're like, sure, we'd love to come on your show.
So you start the interview. So Advance Wars, huh?
Yeah. So Wargroove.
Andy, can we get Crafty Survivors, our indie steal of the week in early access? The name of the dev for that is Flannel Bear Games. Can we get them on the show just because of the name?
So I kind of want to get them 100%, but I also want to try and get the last Epic also on here.
Epoch.
Because it's
Last Epic.
Yeah.
Last Epoch. So
Last Epic.
So Epoch. I learned what that word meant watching Rocky and Bullwinkle or Peabody or one of those shows, one of those old ass shows. But it
sounds like that sounds more Sherman and Peabody.
It sounds like Sherman and Peabody, but it wasn't, because I know it was the
whole generation.
It was
Taylor has no idea what we're talking about.
It was one of
Taylor
those.
listens to the show, he'll have no idea what we're talking about.
What was the show that was within Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Oh shit.
There was like, I might be misremembering. I don't know, but Aesop's Fables.
Oh yeah.
Or
Foibles.
It was Fables on the show. I know the Foibles is like what it is, but the show wasn't called Foibles. I know
That's bullshit. You're wrong.
It was Fables. It had to be Fables.
Why? Because children can't say foibles?
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, there was an episode of that explained what an epoch is, which is a moment in time where time starts to become recorded.
Which is super cool for the story of that. I mean, it just makes sense for the story of that game.
Because you're going in like 5 different eras of time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So I just did like the first time hop. That was the last time I played, which sucks because I want to fucking play the shit out of this game because I feel like I would just
play it until shit literally comes out of your computer.
Out of my butt. Oh, all right.
No, you want to play the shit out of the game, not the shit out of yourself.
I mean, to both. I don't know. I kind of want to regulate.
That's a different kind of sexy time.
What?
Play with yourself till shit comes out. That's a totally different thing.
But I did the first time jump, and I was like, "Oh shit!
Yeah,
what is going on?"
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's fucking. That's a really cool story.
I understand that it's pronounced epic. Just so you both know, that's how you pronounce that word.
I don't believe you. I won't.
I don't believe you either. Sorry, you're wrong.
Right.
No, don't look it up. We're right, Steve.
I know.
That's how you pronounce that word.
Epic?
It's pronounced epic.
There's no way.
No, it's not.
Alrighty.
That's not how you pronounce it.
It's puck.
Play it. What is it? What is
puck?
You just
not
said
epic.
epic. You just said epic really slow.
It's actually A, not eh.
It's
Let's
epic.
practice.
He was like, no. It's not.
Oh wait, no, I don't want to practice.
Epic.
Puck. I said.
Epic.
It's epic.
She's lying. She's a liar.
Epic.
Listen to her.
Ridiculous.
Epic.
Epic.
Ridiculous.
She's a liar.
Epic. Epoch.
Oh, well, I thought it was epoch.
Yeah, I don't believe you. It's okay.
It's all right. It's fine. It's just words.
Words are hard, man.
They really are.
English is fucking weird, man.
Say less words and get us out of here.
What is harder, English or having to say goodbye?
Oh, it's
Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of the show. Thank you so much for supporting us and listening to us ramble on about our favorite indie games of the week. Tune in next week where we talk more about fucking whatever that Dead Cells game is going to do. Or fucking Isaac, some other shit that is multiple years old that will just continue to find its way onto our Steam decks and just take our precious time away. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, listeners. And as always, please be excellent to each other and play some indies.